My postcard today is from the Middlesex parish of Sunbury-on-Thames, a village that can trace its history back to the Bronze Age. Many of its houses date back 300 years to the Georgian period, although there are older buildings possibly influenced by the influx of French Huguenots. The people of Sunbury have a strong sense of history, and they've got together to create a wonderful embroidery that depicts the area in 3 panels, in all nearly 26 feet long.
Sunbury really seemed to come of age, and a lot of the buildings that we see in Sunbury today were built during the Georgian period. I think it was a continuation of the Huguenots and those first important families that came to live in Sunbury during the Georgian age. They thought Sunbury's a really good place to live. It's still near to Hampton Court, not that far from Windsor. It's only half a day's ride by horse or carriage to the centre of London. And so a number of wealthy families came to live here in Sunbury. And one or two quite important people. Admiral Lord Hawke, one of our most famous residents, the victor over the French at the Battle of Quiberon Bay in 1759. He bought a house here in Sunbury. He retired here and lived for some 15 or so years in his retirement here in Sunbury. And Hawke House still survives to this day, although it's now turned to offices, but I'm glad to say it's still here in Sunbury. So a number of other, Lord Pomfret came here. He built a big house which still stands called Sunbury Court, now the headquarters of the Salvation Army, but he actually built a Sunbury Court there and had the walls decorated by the Swedish court painter Elias Martin, and these paintings are still in existence in Sunbury Court to this day. So it was a number of sort of important people building their houses. Then you had this mixture of the working class people, the fishermen, the farmers, and then you've got, living alongside, quite a number of important nobility.
So Sunbury had elevated itself.
Absolutely. And then we had a vicar, the Reverend Mulso, a great friend of Gilbert White, who wrote the Natural Histories of Selworthy. He was a great friend of the Reverend Mulso.
The Reverend Mulso felt that the church was not grand enough for his congregation, so he had it pulled down in 1750, and the present one was designed by Ernest Wright, who was Clerk of the Works at nearby Hampton Court Palace. The churchyard featured in one of the most famous novels of the Victorian age. So many people think that Charles Dickens was only concerned with what happened within London, and yet here, Sunbury has been recorded for posterity in Oliver Twist. As they passed Sunbury Church, the clock struck 7. There was a light in the ferry house window opposite, which streamed across the road and threw into more sombre shadow a dark yew tree with graves beneath it. There was a dull sound of falling water not far off, and the leaves of the old trees stirred gently in the night wind. It seemed like quiet music for the repose of the dead. Sunbury was passed through, and they came again into the lonely road. They're actually going off towards Shepperton to do a burglary.